#6 Star Trek. The Next Generation Season 1 episodes you can completely skip. Star Trek. The Next Generation TNG may have become one of the most beloved sci-fi shows in history. But let's be honest. Season 1 was a rough start. The Enterprise D had a lot of growing pains, and the writers were still trying to figure out the tone, the characters, and how to tell stories that lived up to the original series while boldly going into the future. Sure, there are moments of charm and a few early gems looking at you. One. But a number of episodes feel clunky, derivative, or just plain baffling. If you're doing a rewatch or introducing someone new to TNG, here are 6 episodes from Season 1 you can absolutely skip, with no regrets and no major plot gaps. 1. Code of Honor, Episode 4. This episode has become infamous, and for good reason. Code of Honor tries to deliver a Prime Directive-style moral dilemma, but instead ends up being shockingly tone-deaf. The story involves the crew visiting a planet whose people are depicted through a wildly problematic lens, leaning into outdated, stereotypical portrayals of an alien culture that resemble 20th century colonial tropes. It's awkward, offensive, and widely regarded as one of the worst hours of Star Trek ever made. Even the cast has publicly disowned it. You'll lose nothing by skipping it, except maybe a lingering sense of secondhand embarrassment. 2. Angel 1, Episode 14. On paper, Angel 1 had potential. A planet run by matriarchs, flipping gender power dynamics. But in execution, it's clumsy and shallow. Rather than a smart examination of sexism and societal norms, it plays more like a clunky reversal of stereotypes without much nuance or insight. Meanwhile, a secondary plot involving a virus aboard the Enterprise is mostly filler. Even Riker, in his signature deep V tunic, can't save this one. It tries to be progressive, but ends up feeling like a late-night B-movie dressed in sci-fi clothing. 3. The Naked Now, Episode 3. A spiritual sequel to the original series episode, The Naked Time. This early outing forces the TNG crew to act drunk and uninhibited after contracting a strange virus. While it does attempt to give the new crew some flavor early on, the tone feels wildly inconsistent. Data and Tasha Yar's bizarre romantic interlude is never really addressed again beyond a brief nod in Skin of Evil, and many characters behave so out of sync with their later development that it's borderline cringeworthy. It's meant to be fun, but instead it comes off like the writers pressed fast-forward on character arcs that hadn't even started. 4. Justice, Episode 8. The episode where Wesley Crusher almost gets executed for stepping on the grass. Justice is a textbook case of a Star Trek morality play gone awry. The episode introduces a supposedly utopian planet where even minor rule infractions are punished by death. While that sounds like a setup for some high-stakes Prime Directive drama, the execution is cheesy and the logic collapses under scrutiny. The Edo, the alien race of the week, are distractingly over-sexualized and the plot twists itself in circles trying to justify a weak dilemma. Skip this one unless you're doing a drinking game based on awkward costume choices. 5. The Last Outpost, Episode 5. This episode marks the first appearance of the Ferengi, who were supposed to be the next generation's major antagonists. Instead, they come off as cartoonish, screeching caricatures, leaping around with energy whips and bizarre behavior that's more laughable than threatening. The episode spends a lot of time posturing, but very little actually happens. Most of the screen time is dedicated to long-winded technobabble and watching the crew stare at a frozen ship. The Ferengi would eventually become beloved, especially in Deep Space Nine. But this was not a good start. 6. Symbiosis, Episode 22. This episode offers a classic Trek-style allegory, this time about addiction and exploitation, but delivers it with the subtlety of a shuttlepod crash. The crew encounters 2 alien races locked in a cycle of drug dependency and manipulation, and while it's clear the writers had a message, the characters come off as condescending and the plot is frustratingly repetitive. The moral quandary feels flat, and the pacing drags. Ironically, the most memorable part of the episode isn't the plot at all. It's the behind-the-scenes fact that Denise Crosby Tasha Yar filmed her death scene for Skin of Evil the same week, so she gives an awkward, just saying goodbye PSA moment to Wesley. And then,